and thanks for joining us at the table. I'm Rachel, and offering their wit and wisdom today are Rachel, Fiona and Melody. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, today we're going to be talking racism, sexism. I think we've even got some non-sexist pancakes coming up, so keep a lookout for that. And we'll be chatting to Ray Moanga. Now, he's a father of two, a businessman and a pastor, so we're going to have a chat to him about a few things that he's up to. But first, we're going to start with a story that was in romper.com. Saida Shabazz wrote about her experience. She's an African-American. She's married a white American. And she's very frustrated at all the comments coming her way about her child, her son, who is paler than her, and people questioning whether she's the nanny, if he belongs to her, or her being ignored when she's out with him. Do you think she's going too far in terms of being frustrated out of people's curiosity?
No, I don't. I actually relate to what she wrote because when I had twins, they were quite fair. They take after their father. And you get comments from people enough to the point where you're like, hey, a lot of people are passing judgment on your child because they're fair or because they're white. They associate that with being beautiful.
Are they passing judgment, or are they just commenting out of sheer curiosity and something being a little bit different?
As a mum, you can automatically become defensive. When you hear it enough, you start thinking, hey, my child is my child. They're innocent. Please do not pass judgment on them because of the colour of their skin. What I started seeing was that with the association of being beautiful was the association of being fair. So then I started thinking, I don't want my children raised up to think just because you're fair or white, you're beautiful.
I think for this mom, I think one of the big issues for her is that she knows she wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning to take care of her child. She said she carried her child for all of those years, for those months, you know. That would be horrible.
It feels like years. It feels like years.
Yeah, and I can identify with this. When Jax was quite young, I remember walking down the street and a guy asked me if I was babysitting. And he's like, oh, is that your child? Are you babysitting? So I think it is. I mean, you are taken aback because you're like, I'm the one taking care of this child. Like, you feel so much love for that kid. You can't believe, first of all, you can't believe that someone has the audacity, who you don't know, to say something to you like that in the first place. So,
but like from a different, it's happened to me before, but let's not focus on that. What I'm thinking about more is, what if the child really isn't yours, in the sense that you've adopted the child? Okay, when you've adopted the child becomes yours, but you know, they were like, oh, did you really give birth to that child? Well, no, I didn't, but the child is mine. Like, it's really hard for a mom who has adopted a child to go through that explanation, and how do you try to do that with the kid as well? And really, sometimes I really think that some people should just keep their comments to themselves.
yeah, I just think it's a really out there comment. I would never in a million years think to say something like that to someone that I don't know. Because this guy was a construction worker who said it to me. He was like on the side of the road, and as I was walking by, he said it. So it was like we had no connection to one another.
You find that. But I actually found with my situation it was people of ethnic backgrounds, not necessarily white. It was actually people, and I thought, wow, this is where discrimination starts from. It actually starts from within your own culture. This is my experience, and it's a shame. It's actually a shame to experience that as a mum. And you get enough comments, so I can understand. She went an extra mile and started blogging about it, but I just complained. I was just like, this is wrong. This is where discrimination starts.
I was actually stopped from going up the bus with my family, my husband and my son, who was pushing the pram because they thought I didn't belong to that family, and so they actually stopped me from going up the bus.
Wow. But I think it can happen to other parents as well. It's not just a racial thing as well. Sometimes parents don't look like their kids, and they can get those comments.
Well, look, my oldest daughter doesn't look like me or my husband, and we often have people say, oh, who does she look like? You know, questioning. But it can happen in other circumstances as well. Like, I know a lady, she's an older mum, and she's got a young son, and people often refer to her as the grandmother, and she's the mum, and, you know, you can see that...
Does she take offence to that?
You can see that it hurts, but, you know, she understands that people see it that way, but yeah, she is offended, like she's hurt, yeah.
It just goes down to the fact that we really pass judgments really quickly based on appearances.
I think we all turn into kids again because kids say whatever's on their mind, so somehow adults just revert back and just say whatever's in their head, and it just comes out their mouth.
Well, I guess it's just a lesson for us all to think twice before we speak, maybe. Look, we're going to move on. Now, how far would you go to give credibility to yourself in the workplace? Well, there's a lady who actually dyed her hair brown to appear smarter, to be taken more seriously in the workplace because she had been given some flack by her male boss about being pretty and not necessarily having the intelligence to back it up. Did you just sort of feel fiery when you read this?
No, I've never had that problem, have I?
Yeah, I haven't had that problem either of being told that you're too attractive for the job. But I feel that for this lady to have gone that extra mile to dye her own hair, what else are you going to do to change to keep a job?
Yeah, but
Get a new job,
what if you
darling.
need the money? Like, what if you're so needy for that money that you don't necessarily feel like you have a choice?
Well, I mean, she dyed her hair, so she's got money. It's not like she doesn't. Money's an issue, but what I think is that she has changed her looks based on what someone has said that she's employed by. You can be employed by someone else. Are you going to be changing, something else because you can't get that job? It goes down to your own personal self-esteem.
I wonder if it's her self-esteem, or I think within that industry, it was the client that she was going to work with. It was a very male-dominant client,
Yep.
and they weren't wanting to assign her to that particular role. I don't know. I really questioned. What I wanted to know was how beautiful she was. So I was like scrolling down the article trying to see what she looked like, and I was expecting her to like jump off the page and me to just be captured by her. And she said that as well. She said, "I'm not saying so much about myself that I'm the most gorgeous woman in the world." And to me, she was pretty, but she wasn't, so stunning that I thought it would, blind my eyes. So I think that was my question is, how beautiful is too beautiful to get a job?
I don't know. I just feel like there's a bit of a culture out there where male bosses feel like they can say that. Like at the moment, I literally have a friend in the last week who has put up on Facebook a comment, and let me read it. And it happened to her when she was 22, working in the Australian media, and she had a boss actually say to her, "You are too pretty to be intelligent." So, and I'm seeing more and more stories in the media of this sort of culture, and that's why I'm feeling fiery and red about it. I'm like, what is that?
Was it that she was too pretty to be intelligent, or it was just within the industry, her look was too pretty for people to take her seriously?
No, she's quite a good journalist, and there was a lot more comments that I couldn't even repeat on here. That's probably the tamest one she received.
The issue of discrimination and sexism is an issue, but I think we need to be able to address that with, we've got organisations in place that we should be speaking to and addressing, like the Fair Work Ombudsman. Go to them, speak to someone that can give you help, especially in terms of discrimination.
I think in this particular situation, though, she said she felt so uncomfortable making it an issue, because if you're in a very male-dominated environment, if you make an issue out of it, I think you're just ostracized even more.
Yeah, you feel powerless.
But on the flip side, though, at the end of her article, she actually said something along the lines of the fact that things would be different if women were in charge because they wouldn't judge people based on their appearances.
But that's not true, because I think
Exactly.
women also judge each other.
I agree with you.
It's not. I don't think it's a sex thing. Maybe we are more thoughtful about it, but I think there could be both. It's a woman
Exactly.
thing and a male
Because
thing.
I was like, really, if a woman was in charge, I think it might not be better either.
No.
No, I don't think so either. And just the thought that a brunette is not as beautiful as a blonde, that if she dyed her hair brown, she was
That she
somehow
would be
less...
taken more seriously.
Yeah. Why is that?
I'm not feeling that
question.
changing yourself to appease for someone or for a job. Get a new job. I don't believe that you should be changing the way you look to please somebody else.
But what if it's at a place that you've longed to work for ages, though? Like, it's...
You got to question: is it really worth it?
true.
Is it really worth it?
But yeah,
I do think there are things you can do, though, to be... I don't know if this is going to sound wrong, but to be taken more seriously in your workplace. I mean, there are ways that you can dress that will maybe like downplay some of your better assets, that might, attract attention and keep people from listening to the things that you have to say.
Yeah, look, I think down in the article that she wrote in the Sydney Morning Herald, she also said she sort of started wearing glasses as opposed to contacts to see if that helped as well. Look, maybe you've done something to change the way people view you in the workplace. Let us know. Jump onto our Facebook page and let us hear your story. Well, we're going to hand you over to Mandy now. She's going to make some bug spray, and that could be good coming through summer. Have a look.
We all love to spend some of our summer nights outside enjoying the warm air and even a barbecue. But sometimes those bugs can just get in the way of a really good evening. So I'm going to show you how to make a homemade bug spray that is safe for all the family. We're going to start off first of all with some geranium essential oil. So we're going to be adding about 30 drops of this into a dark glass jar. Next, we're going to use citronella, which we all know as being one of the key ingredients to getting rid of those nasty bugs. So I'm going to put in about another 30 drops of citronella oil. All right, next I've got 2 more essential oils that I'm going to add 20 drops of each. The first one is lavender. So this is great at also relieving bites if you do happen to get bitten. And then another 20 drops of lemon eucalyptus oil. Right, and our last essential oil that we're going to use in this mix is rosemary. So we're just going to add, 10 to 20 drops of this one. All right, so that is our essential oil concoction. So now we have some other ingredients we're going to add just to bulk out our spray and to also aid in getting rid of those bugs. So we're going to start off with some witch hazel. So I'm going to add about half a cup. Right, and next I'm going to add in half a cup of white vinegar because most bugs hate the smell of vinegar. If you do have a bit of an aversion to white vinegar, you can substitute it for water, but the vinegar does help the spray to be a little bit more effective. Right, so we've got 1 tablespoon of isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. This just helps to dry the moisture out when you spray it on your skin. We're going to be adding some vegetable glycerin in, and this is just going to help the mixture form a really nice consistency, and glycerin has really nice moisturising properties for your skin. That is it. That is our homemade bug spray to help you be able to enjoy those summer nights and stay outside a little bit longer. So I hope you enjoyed this simple DIY. If you did enjoy it, let us know on our Facebook page at The Table TV Show. We would love to hear from you.
Little bit of chemistry class going on there, huh?
Look like it. Oh, good. Thanks, Mandy. Well, I'm going to talk now about a marriage experiment that Bella Elwood Clayton did. Now, she wrote about it in the Sydney Morning Herald. She's been married for 10 years and did a 10-day experiment. She felt like her marriage needed a little bit of help, as I imagine all of us do. So she started out with something really simple on the first day, like saying, I love you. And she didn't want her husband to cotton on to the fact that she was doing this experiment, all the way up to grand gestures by the end of the 10 days.
She even cooked him a meal, I think, at the end, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
This is the grand gesture.
Yeah, that is the grand gesture.
I love it. Is that what happens after 10 years?
Stop cooking.
But she wanted to sort of dig deeper and go, okay, does kindness engender kindness? You know, is that going to sort of bring us back to a point of more peace? What do you think? Would you do it? Have you done it?
I don't know that I can say that I've done this in particular. I've tried reading the Love Dare book. Have you all heard of the Love Dare book?
No.
Well, it's similar, but I think it's 30 days of little challenges that you do in the hopes, of improving your relationship or having this more passionate relationship. What I loved about this compared to Love Dare is that she was so honest. Like, she'd say, I did this, but it didn't work, So I definitely have it on my horizon to do, but I just have to figure out when to do it in a way that, will work for me and Pete.
Honesty is awesome, though. And I love that she was really honest, too, because she's like, yeah, day 6 was a fail. I didn't have it in me. And then she tried again the next day. Yeah. It was great.
I think it really helps. But, I guess firstly is I don't think I've been married long enough for us to try that experiment. So, we're still in the,
still in bliss.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
We're
together.
almost 4 years.
Yeah.
We've been together for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, see,
yeah.
10 years. It's a long time.
But not married for that long. So, yeah, I really do think that kindness does beget kindness because that's how I actually try to treat my husband all the time. And, and maybe we're just really laid back people, but we don't fight that often as well. So it works, I think.
That's nice. Oh, look, my husband and I get on really well, but there comes a point, because we're so different, we sort of go into different areas to survive when we're under pressure. And I have to confess, I've actually tried things like this to go, okay, just let's recenter this, regroup sort of thing. And I haven't done a 10-day experiment or a formal experiment, but I have had the same thoughts where I'm like, okay, dig deeper, choose kindness, and just put it out there. But I've also had those days where I'm like, it's not working today.
But I think it comes down to honesty as well, because that's the other thing. I say that we don't fight, but we do have disagreements and stuff like that. And that's when it's not about stewing about it, but actually just saying, there is an issue right now. Let's talk about it and figure out how we can work things through.
And getting on the same page, I guess, is important, which I find with Brendan and I, if we're not on the same page, all havoc breaks loose, and I don't stop until I get my point across. So we can go on for days if it needs to be. But I think at the same time, having an attitude of gratitude is very important when and it's easier when we're getting along. When we're not getting along, well, all that's out the door.
Yeah.
But I know that when I think of the times that I'm thankful for him and, being the father and provider of our family, that helps, I guess, in terms of having a better attitude when he comes home and being able to do some of the tips that she said, like cooking dinner and saying I love you, which is something that we do anyway. So, yeah.
I think it's just the intentionality that you're putting into it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that she mentioned was that any issues that were underlying, they were still there. So it's like you're being nice. It's kind of like you're, putting lipstick on a pig. Like if there's an issue, you're like starting to be really nice to your spouse. I mean, it does it creates an environment where you can have those conversations, but it doesn't fix the underlying issues. So I think that that's what it's good for creating this environment where you can start looking at what's actually happening in your marriage.
I think like when you say it's an intentional thing, you really have to think about sometimes doing it because you sort of subconsciously get onto track sometimes, and I think that's probably one of the most important things. Well, earlier on I said we were going to have a look at some non-sexist pancakes. What I really mean is that Gia's husband came up with this recipe, so I want you to take a look. They're actually the world's best gluten-free pancakes, apparently. Have a look.
Hi, today we've got a special guest and her name's Hannah. Do you want to wave to the camera? Hi, Hannah. And this is Olive, and together we are going to make gluten-free pancakes, and these are my husband's recipe and they are amazing. And the reason we're making them is because Hannah and her family are gluten-free, aren't you? Okay, so first you've got to put the dry ingredients together. So we're going to you want to put the flour in there? It's almond flour. Do you want to help me? Okay, put the almond flour inside. Good work, almond flour. No, actually that was brown rice flour. This one is almond flour. Do you want to put that in there for me, Olive? Good work. We've got some coconut sugar. Do you want to put that in there? And Hannah can put in the salt. Thank you. The coconut sugar is 2 teaspoons, and I only use 1/4 teaspoon of salt because I think it actually is quite strong with this flour. And we'll put 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And Adam thinks that cinnamon is the way to go because it's a banana mix and the banana and cinnamon together really work well. Is that right? Okay, do you want to mix it for me? Who's going to mix it?
Me.
Okay, mix it there. Mix it quick. And while you do that, I'm going to add the chia egg. So it's 1 tablespoon of ground chia seeds and 3 tablespoons of water. If you want to visit our website, you can find that recipe on there. And we're going to add that to the milk, which is only 1 cup.
I got it on her
Did
shirt.
you? Oh, that's okay. Can you give her a turn?
And then it's my turn,
Yeah,
okay?
it's her turn. Good girl, Hannah. Yeah, good mixing. So we put the wet ingredients together. I've put the chia seeds inside the milk because we'll mix it together so it's not gluggy when we actually put it in the mixture, in the dry mixture. Okay, now I'm going to need that one. Thank you. So I'm just going to mix the chia seeds through, and I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla essence, just a dash of that. Mix that through, and now we put it into the dry ingredients. Taste some. Okay, good work, girls. You guys work well as a team together, you and Olive. Thanks for visiting us today, Hannah. We're so happy you could be with us today. Can you mix this for me? And then Olive can have a turn. Hannah first, then Olive, okay? And I'll get the banana ready because we're going to mash some banana in it. Now with the banana, all you have to do is just use your fingers, and it doesn't need to be too mashed, so make sure there's bits in it, just throw it in there. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk. So can you mix that for me while I add the milk? You've got to mix it really well. That's it, all done. What do you reckon?
Smell it, Hannah.
Does it smell delicious? Yeah, banana pancakes. All right, and we're going to put the mixture in there. So you're going to watch me? Okay, hold on. I'll put the first mixture through, okay?
And then I can do it.
Yep, and then you guys can do it, okay? So we'll get 1. Ooh, 1 there. Now we're just going to have to wait. Sometimes I wait up to about 2 minutes before I flip them over. Okay, so these have been cooking for around 2 minutes, and while they've been cooking, I just try to loosen them up a bit by putting the spatula around them. And as soon as they're starting to unstick easier, you put the spatula under and you flip. Look at that pancake! The kids wake up every Saturday morning, run into our bedroom, screaming, pancakes, pancakes, because they know it's pancake morning. Oh, everyone's left me, I'm on my own. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let it cook through a little bit longer. Are you guys coming back? Oh, great, come up, it's nearly finished. It's gonna be a bit hot though. Okay, so they usually get 2 pancakes each.
Syrup.
We throw some maybe strawberries or blueberries, which aren't gonna stay on top. And I drizzle some maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
And there you have it, gluten-free pancakes.
No, for me.
Okay, maple syrup for you too.
Me.
And you. Ready? For more recipes, please visit our website. It's thetabletv.com. And if you want to visit us on social media, it's The Table TV Show. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Oh no, we've got it everywhere. Looking forward to hearing your results with these pancakes.
Very nice, Gia. Well done. Look, if you want to find some more healthy recipes, you're welcome to get a free copy of this. It's Everyday Essentials with Nature's Superfoods. You can email us at hello@thetabletv.com or call us on 1300 300 389. That's for Australia. And in New Zealand, it's 0800 694 673. And you can get your free copy of this cookbook. Well, I'd like to introduce you to our next guest. Ray Moanga is a father of two, a public speaker, a pastor, a business founder and owner. What else do you do? And Ray, sorry, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Man, I want to meet this guy. Whoever he is, he sounds like a pretty busy guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So what are you actually doing then at the moment if you've got all those things on your plate?
Yeah, so let me start by going backwards. So at the moment, I'm currently a sports coach.
Okay.
I've been doing that for the last few months. And then prior to that, I was casual teaching in high school.
Oh, teacher as well.
Yes, sorry. I forgot to put that in my CV.
What qualifications don't you have?
And then prior to that, I was studying to get my fitness papers. But for the last 5 years, I've been living in Christchurch as a church pastor. So it's all sort of, become a massive thing.
You're a skilled up man.
Yeah, I try to be, just in case.
Is that a Superman shirt?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and then on top of that, I started an apparel company at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that shirt. It says Uso.
Uso, yeah. So this is a Samoan word, Samoan. So I'm Samoan, both mum and dad are. And so Uso is a word that means a brother to brother or sister to sister in the Samoan language. And so my friend and I, we came up with this idea to put this word on a T-shirt simply because in our culture or in our context, it carries a bit more meaning to call someone an Uso. So it's a person of accountability, someone who you can encourage or they can encourage you, but also you have permission to speak into someone's life if they are doing something bad or not so bad. So really it's fostering community and accountability and making sure that you want that person to succeed. So I printed out a whole bunch of shirts and I went onto social media, reached out and just went, hey, who wants to be wearing a shirt? Obviously, there were certain people that I had in mind to wear the shirt who sort of represented the brand.
Did you know them?
No, to be honest, no. So it was just a really blank check. I was like, well, they don't know me, I don't know them. My feelings can't get hurt if they say no. But luckily enough, they all said yes. And so they started wearing a shirt, taking photos of themselves, putting it on their social media accounts. And then word just, I guess, got around and people started following us, the brand. And so we're still growing up until this point. So it's something fun that I love to do. We have a few NRL players and players who play for the Wallabies. A whole bunch of people that were wearing it. So it's a pretty cool thing. And I still have not met any of them. So this is the cool thing. So they reach out to me and say, hey, cool, thanks for the shirt. But yeah, I'm yet to meet some of these people.
And so it's all about connections and connecting different people in different paths and just, bringing that brotherhood together? Yeah,
absolutely. So it's not just a brotherhood, but it's sisterhood as well. Yeah. So I've had a few people saying, well, because brother to brother, so it also means sister to sister. So you can say to Melody, so you're also to me, which means that you two are people of accountability as well. So the more that we're fostering that accountability and that community of genuine connection, we can actually grow better as, I guess, people.
Ray, what's been your transition from being a pastor? What's been your transition from being a pastor into transitioning into USO?
I guess the transition from being a pastor into USO is that I guess it's all still about people, about empowering people to be better.
You're still ministering?
Absolutely. So even though I'm not on a pulpit or a stage or behind, a thing that allows me to preach or speak from, I'm actually doing it through apparel.
Well, our actions are always on a pulpit, really, aren't they?
Absolutely.
What we do each day.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're also doing something else on social media, aren't you? Something to do with your daughter and a pram?
Yeah, so my wife challenged me at the start of last year, said, why don't fathers exercise with prams? I'm like, because it's not cool. So she says, why don't you make it cool? So I was like, okay. So I took on the challenge and I started to perform exercises with a pram, and my initial name was Fit Pram Daddy. So I would do exercises, practical exercises on a pram with my daughter in the pram or running around. And so that again built up, and I sort of just morphed into more health and well-being. And so yeah, so it's just been an awesome journey of being able to do something fun with the family. So she thinks it's a cool thing. She knows when it's time to go. When I'm recording, it's like, I'm recording, about to do an exercise. She's like, okay, do you want me to sit still? I'm like, yeah, you're the best.
Wow.
So,
Wait, how do you do that trick?
yeah, so
How old's your daughter?
So my daughter's 3. Well, at the time she was only 1, so she was pretty switched on. She knew when Daddy was needing the pram to exercise. So she was like, "Daddy, exercise?" I'm like, "Yes, you're the best." So yeah, it's something that I enjoy, and I love incorporating health and fitness amongst my family as well.
What are some of the projects you're working on? Because I know with this brand also you're
Yes.
doing stuff overseas. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to give to a charitable cause or create some sort of a cause that some of the funds that people buy the shirts would go towards. And so I belong to a coaching community. It's made up of different sort of coaches, and they had a project this year that we went to Samoa just a month ago. And so part of the project was we were fundraise gym equipment to take over to a local village in Samoa, and then therefore we would leave the equipment with them, but we would build a gym so that the local rugby team could actually use the gym and actually become better in terms of their sport. The village we happened to go to was one of the top 3 villages in the country, so they got sponsorship through us, but also the high performance of Samoa to be able to have uniforms. And so we were there at the same time the high performance came to do a jersey presentation, and part of the jersey presentation was the jerseys they received was from the Welsh Rugby Union team. So they left it behind and said, we want you to present this to a specific team that's doing really well, but also needing help. So we happened to be
Too bad they didn't do too well in the World
Yeah,
Cup.
unfortunately, but hey.
But go Tonga.
That's
Go
right.
Tonga.
So yeah, so that's some of the stuff that I love to do, and again, empower others to be able to say, hey, we want to support you. So that's part of the apparel company and sort of something that I'm really passionate about.
I'm just really curious because, you know, one of the common catch cry that we have now is we're just too busy, we don't have time for anything.
Yes.
But you seem to be finding so much time to do so many things. How do you do it?
I have a supportive wife, Melody. That's what I have. And not just supportive, but she's also an advocate for what we do. So any decision that I make in terms of I want to do an apparel company, I say, what do you think? Do you think this is worth pursuing as a family? And so with her approval, with her support, I'm able to do it. So there's always time. I think we often bombard ourselves saying, well, I don't have time to do this. I think it's more so about prioritizing your time and what do you prioritize where you think where all your values and all your beliefs and all your energy can go into to really making something happen. So as busy as it sounds, and it has been a busy year, and I'm not going to lie about that, but along the way, we have been enjoying the process of just learning more about ourselves and about our family, about being an entrepreneur or being a business person or being a teacher or being it sounds like I'm juggling lots of balls at the same time.
Awesome.
So where can
wife.
people find you on social media, and what's your website if people want to get the gear?
Yeah, so on the website it is www.usogear.com.au, and then also on social media it's uso_gear, and you'll see the brand, you'll see the logo, and yeah, so join the movement. It's something that's fun, and I'm sure everyone will sort of, we'll see, watch the space. It's something pretty cool to enjoy.
We will be
gotta
watching
send
that
us some
space. Yeah, send us some shirts.
Yeah, well,
Thank you so much
thanks,
for joining us here today in the studio. Really appreciate it. Love what you're doing. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us too as well today at the table. If you want to see more, you can jump onto our Facebook page. We're on Instagram, and we're also on YouTube where you can subscribe. And don't forget our website, thetabletv.com. We will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.